Hi everyone, this is Coach Dat here, and I want to show you how to checkmate using only one queen and one king versus your opponent's single king. It is possible. It is possible to get a checkmate. There's a lot of times in the game where I see this position where white has an opportunity to checkmate this black king, but the game becomes a tie because this student does not know how to trap the king. All it does is just check the king and just moves back and forth endlessly, and nothing really happens. So you want to force the king into a corner. You could choose either this corner right here on H1 and H2, or this corner over here where A1 or A2, or these two corners. But whichever corner you pick, just stick with it. The corner that I'm going to checkmate the king on is at around H1 and H2, this corner right here. So that means this queen needs to always stay on this side. This queen needs to always stay on this side to make sure that the king does not pass her up. So I am always going to put the queen in a position. Again, I'm going to always put the queen in a position where it's going to be 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. So 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. So that means I'm going to put the queen right here. 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. Now look at this. The queen is creating a box, okay? Creating the box for the king. And the box is only going to get smaller and smaller. So let's look at this. So I'm going to draw the lines right here. Draw the lines right here and right here, and show you how this box is getting smaller and smaller. Next, the king is probably going to move right here. Remember, I'm always going to keep the queen on the other side, on the corner that is trying to go towards, facing this way. So always trying to make a straight line with the king. I'm going to stay 1, 2, 1, 2, slide to the side away from this king. Now this king is going to move, has to move away. So he's going to move down there, and we'll move this queen up. 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. Now you kind of see slightly the box is getting smaller. Now we're just going to move this king this way. So I'm going to follow this king. 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king so that the box gets smaller and smaller. Now we're pushing him slowly into the corner. The king is going to move again, and you just follow the king. You follow the king at 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. Now the kings will probably maybe move over here this way. That's fine. I'm only going to find the next position that's going to be 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. So I found it right here. 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. Now look at the lines. Look at the lines of attack. This queen is creating a box compared to the earlier box when the line was right here. See, the box is always getting smaller. Now this king is going to move back. We're going to follow him. You're going to always say 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. Now the king is just going to have to move away, and the queen is going to do the same thing. 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king. Now this king is just going to move here. The queen is going to follow. 1, 2, slide to the side away. This king is going to move here. This queen is going to move here. Now this king is going to have to move to H1. Look how small this box is. This queen is here. Now this is the most important mistake I do not want you all to make in the game, is moving the queen 1, 2, slide to the side here at this corner. Because if the queen moves here at 1, 2, 1, 2, slide to the side away from the king, it is now a stalemate draw, meaning both players will be sharing a point. They'll be sharing half a point each because the king is not in check, and the king cannot move to a square. It cannot move to these squares without being in check. So he has no other pieces to move, and he's not in check, and he can't move to these squares. So it is now a stalemate and the game is over. So once you get here to this square and you push the king back to the corner, you keep the queen here, her job is done. Her job is done. And now you will bring in the work for the king. Now the king has to help out with the job now. And the king here is just gonna move back and forth. He is now only stuck at these two squares. Okay. We're just gonna push it on forward. You gotta bring your king into the right position. Alright, now this king is here. Now the final move of the checkmate is going to be a queen's bear hug checkmate. The queen's bear hug checkmate is when the queen is right next to the king, smothering him in either a corner or a side, and is guarded. So now this king cannot capture this queen because she is guarded by the king. And now this is a checkmate.